In 2022, Cowrywise, one of Nigeria's biggest fintech apps, conducted a survey where they asked people from Lagos, Port Harcourt, major cities in Nigeria where living cost is very high, how much do they earn? And 64% out of the 100% that responded said they earn less than 100k or 100k on the dot, while only 11% said they earn more than 300k. Like, that is a low amount, especially considering the economy we are living in right now. Now, fast forward to 2026. Most people are still earning that 100k, if not less, or maybe suddenly that your 100k is already feeling like 50k because of inflation. Now what do? So this video is on how to manage your 100k salary in this Nigerian economy, buying food, taking care of your rent, and doing all the major things that you need to do, maybe like eating out and hanging out. Now let's get right into it. But before we get on, just make sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, join this family, because we're all about the good stuff, growing our money while living the soft life. Managing a 100k salary in Nigeria requires strict budgeting, bulk buying, and prioritizing your needs over your wants. These are the three main things you need to have at the back of your mind if you're one that wants your 100k salary to become meaningful for you. To manage your 100k salary in Nigeria, I'm going to be giving you a 5-step structured approach to managing your salary so that you can better have a good balance without having to feel like you are being left out in some things. And the first one is to prioritize your needs, which is basically choosing a budgeting approach where your needs is top priority. Like, I always talk about, we are going to be using the 50-30-20 rule for this main process. So you need to allocate 50 to 60% of this your 100k to your needs. You have to prioritize your needs because you can't do without your rent, you can't do without your food, transport, all those major things that you can't do without, so you have to spend money on them. So put 50 to 60% of this your salary on this. So you have 50,000 naira to 60,000 naira, whichever one helps you to have a good balance. But mostly I would advise the 50,000 naira because that is 50% of your salary. So you can now put this to food, to rent, to transportation and other things. Then 20,000 to 30,000, which is 20% to 30%, you can now use for your eating out. Maybe you are buying data, any subscription that you currently have, of which at this point you should not have so much. It should be only data, because I know that the average Nigerian having data on their phone and being on TikTok, Instagram is a source of joy, so you can't really do without it. Just weigh whichever one you feel is more important to you, but we have to allocate only 20,000 naira or 30,000 naira to this. But if I am to advise you, I would say stick to 20,000 naira because that is more manageable. Buy plans where you have, MTN has this star 121 ash where you can get cheaper data. Go for those options instead of going for the regular one. That is a way to save money. Now for your savings and investment, you have to use 10 to 20% of this your 100k, which is just 10,000 naira or 20,000 naira, whichever one you choose, for your savings and investment. And when I say savings and investment, I know that investment you can't really do so much with using 10k to invest. So all I can advise you is to build up this money in apps like Piggyvest, Optimus, so that when this money now grows, then you can go ahead to invest it in other things like stocks, land, and all those things. Even though it might take a while for land, but it is still a possibility. Anything is possible, but all that matter is that you take baby steps to achieving your ultimate goal. You know how we took out 50,000 naira from this 100k for your needs, right? Which includes your rent, your food, and every other thing that is very important. We are going to be taking a portion of this 50,000 naira for food. And in this case, you are going to be buying things in bulk. You are going to be prepping your meals beforehand. You are going to be eating at home. Instead of eating out, instead of buying food on the go, you have to do these three things, and especially bulk buying. Being in Nigeria, the main food we eat, rice, beans, yam, all those things that are very important, buy them in bulk in such a way that it will take you a long way in the month before you receive your next salary and repeat this process again. But I know you are saying, like, what can you do with this money, especially when it comes to rent and everything inside the same 50,000 naira. The next thing we're going to be talking about is now renting. Especially if you're living in this Lagos, there is an option for everybody. Cut your coat according to your size. Like they say in my workplace, I am not paying you this amount of money for you to now go and be living in Mushin. So whatever you see in Mushin, you take it. So if you know your salary is not enough for you to live in Antoni, VI, in all those big places, I would advise you follow this method of cutting your coat according to your size. If possible, live with friends or even live with your family. You don't need to move out yet because you are not earning much. We need to strategically use this money so that we can build it up, and over time start investing, and then you can now move out. But at this place, you either live with your parents or you live with your friends, shared apartments, anything that is going to make you reduce your rent to as low as 20,000 or 30,000. That is what you're going to be doing. Now let's talk about our savings and financial growth, because I know this money is not a lot, so you have to use every single penny wisely. For this savings and investments, you are going to be using 10 to 20% of your entire salary for this. And one good thing is to automate your savings in apps like Piggyvest, Optimus. Save up this money, let it grow, and then you can go on to do other bigger investment options. But make sure you grow this your money, and the most important thing here is to automate it. You know, in our banking apps, we have this schedule your transfer, schedule it so that it goes directly to these apps. Because if you are having an account in Piggyvest, it is just you having like an account in Access Bank. So schedule this your transfer to that your bank account in Access Bank, but it just goes directly to Piggyvest, because I know there's a personalized account number for Piggyvest users. Automate this your savings and try to aim for emergency funds that are like 10 to 20% of this your entire savings. Let's say you use 10% for your savings and investments, just like the 50/30/20 rule, either 20 or 10, whichever one works. But let's say you've set aside this money for your savings and investment. Out of this, remove 10 to 20% again, which is around like 1,000 or 2,000 naira, whichever one. Put it in another account for your emergency funds. Build up this money, because it is very important that you have emergency funds, especially in this Nigeria where emergencies creep up without we planning for it. But then we have to take care of it. Instead of you experiencing an emergency and then running helter skelter to borrow money, it is better you have your emergency fund growing in apps like Piggyvest again or Optimus, so that you have something to fall back on, or at least ease the stress of that emergency. Cutting unnecessary costs is the fifth thing you can do for yourself to help you better manage this your 100k salary. If you are earning 100k and you have DSTV subscription, you have Netflix subscription, I don't know what you are doing, because you need to cut out all those unnecessary costs in your life. This is the fifth thing you need to do if you are one that is managing a 100k salary. You don't need all those subscriptions at this point in your life. Yes, we all aspire for big things. You're going to get your house, you're going to put all those subscriptions then. But for this stage you are in now, you have no business with any of those, platforms. So cut unnecessary costs. And another thing you can do for yourself is to run far away from loan apps. Any apps that is promising you to give you now, pay later, when they start dragging you, I will not be there to save you. So you better know what you are doing. Avoid the loan apps, live within your means, if not below it. Trust me, you want to avoid anything that is going to be adding an extra cost to your life when it is not necessarily adding so much value to your life. Instead of you having all those subscriptions, going for loan apps, it will be wiser for you to just sub your data, maybe use like those options I talked about, using the *121 hash to get a cheaper option of data. Go on TikTok. All the Netflix you need in this life is in that app, because why am I staying on that app 2 3 hours? I'm laughing my stomach out. So cost your unnecessary costs. Choose wisely where you are spending your money, because now money is tight. We need to use it wisely. So this is all you need to know if you are one that is managing a 100k salary in Nigeria. Trust me, it is going to get better from there. It is just for you to make wiser decisions going forward. So 2026 is that year where you are going to come out financially on top, because your girl and Minister of Enjoyment is there to always have your back. This is all I have for you guys today. I hope you click that like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Check out this other video that I have here that is going to help you better manage your money, teach you options you can use to make more money. Trust me, your girl has always got you covered, because everything I'm doing, I'm sharing it with you. So I'll see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to check out this video. In short, let's go. Let's go. You need to go and check out this video, because it's definitely going to help you in your financial journey. And I'll see you guys.